I do just want to get your reaction, though. Again, like we spoke to Graham Linehan, who was just an absolute hero for so many, along with the J.K. Rowling's, the Maya Forster, the people who like actually put their reputations, their work, their everything on the line to stand up for women's rights, to stand up for children's safety when it came to trans ideology and activism. This Cash report yesterday published 400 plus pages, sorry, 800 pages, but it's like, four-year report. And the repercussions of that, of so many of the people who, and the organisations that have basically been calling people like Graham Linehan and me and J.K. Rowling and everyone else bigots for saying, we don't think this is a good idea. There's no such thing as a trans child. You shouldn't be doing this. Oh, yeah, absolutely fine, all chiming in, including Wes Streeting, the Shadow Health Secretary, although he at least admitted, yes, he was wrong. And it looks like pretty much all the recommendations about what should happen in terms of the therapy and the treatment for children will happen. But also, the fact that, like, Stonewall and Mermaids and organisations pushing this agenda, sending out, advice on how to bind your breast to, 13-year-old girls and things like that. I mean, even they are having to accept some of this. Do you think this is the beginning of the end of this mad, terrible, horrible, tragic craze? Or is this just people in these organisations realising basically how dangerous it is to be on the wrong side of things anymore?
Well, I hope it's the beginning of the end. We need to get people who are heading the majority organisations out there to get a bit of backbone back and stop allowing the polarisation by minority activists to actually take control of the whole narrative.
Stop giving them taxpayers' money as well to do that.
Exactly.
That's the bit that blows my mind. Stonewall and Mermaids being paid money with our taxes.
And we're enabling them to try and impose their views on the majority of the people. No, the people representing the majority need to sit there and go, hey, I can hear you, you've got a free voice to speak, but we're not listening because it doesn't apply to most people. We're not going to discriminate, but
there's no
away.
Hate, there's no phobia. Exactly. No. Do you know, I had a conversation at an event with the Victoria Atkins, the Health Secretary, recently, and she was talking to me about, all the amazing work they were doing on tackling this, the trans issues and things. And I just said, but it's not good enough. I said, look, you know as well as I do, you're going to be out of office come the autumn, and then Labour are going to come in, and they're as mad as the SNP on a lot of this stuff. And I said, this isn't just about women's safety. We can, women can fight and stand up for ourselves, but what's happening in the NHS? You're actually in charge of that. You're putting my taxpayers' money and other people's money into that, and you're allowing this stuff to happen on your watch, and it pretty much exploded and started on your watch as the Tories, and it's going to carry on under your watch, and it's going to get even worse under Labour unless you put a stop to it. I said, you're going to come out of office, you need to make sure that the laws are all changed and that everything, you need to get the trans nonsense out of schools, out of the NHS, out of government before you leave office, because otherwise you're looking at, I said, this is about child safety. I like to think that I might have had a bit of influence here. The poor lady was just trying to have a drink. I was ranting at her for about 10 minutes. I'm just the same off air as on air, everybody. But, I said, you can't pat yourself on the back if there are children still being given puberty blockers who are autistic or maybe gay.
Well, exactly. And, the ministerial response should have been, that's unacceptable, we're binning it. And that's
not
the
end. Not guidance. I don't want guidance in schools and hospitals.
You get that backbone
You can't do this because it's wrong, and we won't let you do it, and we will punish you, we will sack you, and frankly criminalise you if you do it.
And these minority groups, what they're putting out should never get to ministerial level because they've got bigger things to concentrate on.
I would really like governments to stop giving any of our money to all these campaigning groups, any of them, any or all of them. Unless you're a charity, you're actually literally physically helping homeless people into a shelter, unless you are actually giving any absolute practical help, I don't want you to be getting our money. If you've got a cause that a lot of people will back, people will give you money, like the RSPCA or whatever.